Congressional testimony that Fed Chair Jay Powell is scheduled to deliver later this morning is now being released. We want to get right over to Steve Leisman. He's got the details on that. Steve, anything shocking?
Nothing shocking. He's very much reiterating what he has said at the press conference and in the statement. He says that nearly all FOMC participants believe it's appropriate to raise rates, quote, somewhat further. He uses the term hold, says the Fed hold allows the committee to assess lags from prior hikes and headwinds from credit tightening. Notice he's not using the term skip or pause there. Also used the word maintaining rates or maintain. The Fed will make decisions, he says, meeting by meeting. On inflation, he says it's moderated somewhat, but there's still, quote, a long way to go to get it back down to the Fed's 2% inflation target. Bringing down inflation, he says, is going to require a period of below-trend growth and some softening in the labor market. It will take time, he says, for the full effects of monetary policy restraint to be realized in the broader economy. On the economy, he says it's slowed significantly since last year, but it's now expanding at a modest pace. The consumer, he said, spending has picked up there, but the housing sector is weak. Higher rates and slower output growth are slowing business investment. But importantly, on the labor market, he says it remains, quote, very tight. Few things on labor. He says there are some signs labor supply and demand are moving back into better balance, but labor demand substantially exceeds supply still, though wage growth is showing some signs of easing. A couple comments on the banking sector. It says it remains strong and resilient, an often repeated phrase from Fed officials. But the Fed is committed, he says, to addressing vulnerabilities in the banking sector that were exposed in the failure of Silicon Valley Bank, and part of a broader discussion, as you know, Becky, about how regulators should respond to those failures. Becky?